You ever hear the saying, if it's too good to be true, it usually is? Well, I have another saying called, if they announce an Oblivion remake that's coming out within a couple of months, then something's gone terribly wrong. Like, none of this makes sense. There's a slew of YouTubers and articles coming out claiming that the Oblivion remake is nearly upon us. One guy, Pirate Nation on Twitter, has broken it down succinctly. Let's just talk about it. The more I'm going to say and read, the more confusing and baffling it is. If this comes out in the next couple of months, God bless, we all get an Oblivion remake to see if it's good or not. But it just doesn't sound real. So let's get into it. It's an anniversary edition, being 20 years since Oblivion. You feel old yet? Remember, Morrowind was 2002, Oblivion's 2005, and Skyrim was 2011, and we're still waiting on Elder Scrolls 6. Make that make sense. It's going to be announced April 20th. Now, we've had nothing official thus far, but it's going to release in June. Imagine Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? Remember Final Fantasy VII? It was like 97 it came out or whatever, and people are dying for a remake, wanting to upgrade the features and the gameplay in it. And then Square Enix, does this big lead up. Everybody knows it's years in installments, and basically there's enough time to get your shit together to get ready to pay for said installments of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Announced April 20th, releases June. That's a couple of months. Just slam dunking. This is where I red flag and go, am I going crazy? Am I going crazy? That is such a short lead time. It gets better. More info via leakers on Discord, because that's who I trust. The full remake on Unreal Engine 5 while running on the Creation Engine. Number one, Unreal Engine 5 is pretty. I imagine Oblivion would run at 10 FPS if they did some new realistic, all I see in my head is like a handful of mods crammed into the engine. The only thing that gives this credence is it's on the Creation Engine, but how they stuff that into Unreal, I don't know how these engines work, but I tell you what, Oblivion isn't about being pretty. I would like it to be upgraded, but Unreal 5 is a red flag in and of itself. It's the engine that every modder or person who wants to show off their skills in creating something pretty like a Zelda, Ocarina of Time, somebody makes it in Unreal 5, or Oblivion. Look at this sweeping landscape, Unreal 5, but it's not. It's for like tech demos. I don't see Oblivion running well on Unreal 5. Gets weirder. Fluidity is more like Skyrim rather than Starfield/Fallout. I'd hope so. I hope it's fluid, more like an Elder Scrolls game. It looks better than both. Great. But what does that mean? Well, graphics like MGS3 Delta, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. Let me tell you something. Part of Oblivion's charm, part of Morrowind, even Skyrim's charm, is the janky looking NPCs. And the further you get away from them, the further from God you are. And what I mean is, have you ever seen people who mod the absolute bejesus out of these games until they're unrecognizable? Then you may as well not be playing an Elder Scrolls game. Well, I'm not saying that Oblivion's perfect. I am saying that they need to stay where it's at least 30 to 50% recognizable NPCs. You cannot just redo their whole look. It won't look like an Oblivion game. Some cut content has been restored and added to the game. That's good. There's actually a slew of quests that were really good. But all expansions and DLC are included. In what world does a AAA gaming company, Bethesda, who came up with Horse Armor, give away all DLCs and expansion? The Shivering Isles is a game in unto itself and created so many assets that were totally separate from Oblivion. Why would they go through that time? Skyblivion doesn't have the resources to do it. Why not break it up into smaller chunks and sell it off? They go on to say about price. Funnily enough, $79.99. Now that I believe, it's like a AAA price above and beyond. With no pre-order bonuses, I don't believe. You'd think that they would put it out for 6 days early or whatever to just milk some money, so that doesn't make sense. The deluxe edition includes art book, soundtrack, and 2 sets inspired by Morrowind and Skyrim. Yes, but also deluxe, If it said digital art book and stuff, I would believe it more. I know if this is a cash grab, if this is just shoving something into Unreal 5 and making money, why not, again, break up the DLCs, pull out the horse armor, like the Creation Club, it gets better. Talking about Creation Club and mods, there is no mod support planned due to Unreal 5 engine complications. The whole engine sounds like a complication. Why put it in Unreal in the first place? It blows my mind that if this is real, I'm going to fall over. I cannot fathom what it looks like other than a tech demo that a fan has made. If we go down to the comments, people are pretty much on the same boat. No mod support and dropped. Like that's the cornerstone of a lot of Bethesda games, especially, because of the jank. The community update, the Oblivion unofficial patch alone makes the quality of life just so crazy. So the fact that the remake will have to come out perfectly without a patch is, Skyblivion, by contrast, will have mod support, obviously, and comes out this year as well. They say nobody should be buying this. Skyblivion looks amazing. The dungeons, the quests, the world, I've been keeping up with it. I think Rebel's Eyes and the team are just magnificent at what they're doing. If I had to put these two side by side, my only, I would say, critique of Skyblivion right now is that they still have the Skyrim faces. And when they originally created Skyrim, the artist actually said that the character NPCs looked like Oblivion NPCs, and he begged them to change it last minute to the Skyrim faces we know and love. I'd like a regression a little bit to Oblivion NPCs, maybe a tweak in melee combat, but that's about it. Like, you cannot fault Skyblivion, which if you own Skyrim is going to be free to play. It fleshes out the cities. It creates the world, which seems to be envisioned a lot more in the sketches and the artists had intended, and then goes above and beyond with the dungeon, which is the weak point, and quests, everything. So Skyblivion to me is superior at this point, hands down. But if we have another a remake to play in the interim, I am chugging through on the channel. If you've watched the videos, I'm doing the main factions. I got Mage's Guild Shivering Isles main quest. Now I'm going to get them done before June, play through the remake, and then start in Skyblivion when that drops. And I'm going to be playing Oblivion, whatever version, for the next 2+ years, straight up. Like, there's non-stop, so I hope the remake's good. People go on to say, no mod support in Unreal Engine. I used to champion Unreal like an ignorant TWAT. I don't want to say that word. I sound British and weird. Now I see there's a shift. AAA using Unreal as a sign of weak constitution and maximizing speed to get a product out ASAP. Yeah, it's like, it seems to be, to me personally, like it has all of the, it's like a high elf, all flash and no fury. I think that's what it is. Very flashy. I can't see it running at 30 to 60 FPS stable. Nezahul Duma says, if the Skyblivion mod doesn't include the actual gameplay of Oblivion, this will be superior. But if Skyblivion manages to not only be an Oblivion skin for Skyrim, but actually includes RPG systems of Oblivion, then it will be superior due to mod support. I still think Skyblivion, everything I've seen is superior. If you want to nitpick, they don't have acrobatics, I believe, or they don't have greaves, like the pants, because of the system of armor in Skyrim where it's all one piece. That's from memory. Don't quote me on that, but I'm just saying that it's hard to nitpick Skyblivion because of how good it looks. Now, most people are going nuts about the price, no mod support, and Unreal 5. I just don't think that a bunch of quote-unquote leaks. I've had other YouTubers come up to me and say, like, look, this sounds real. I've seen the sources, blah, 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 50-50. I'm 50-50, I guess, but it just doesn't, you're reading it, something's off. It just seems like somebody wrote it on a board out of boredom, in Discord, and it kind of got runaway traction. And so now it hit the news cycle repeatedly. I know that back in 2020 or 2021, there was a license thing for it. That's what gives this the most credence, is the fact that they did copyright the name, and like there could be something happening, but I don't know. I feel like I'm getting gaslit by the news cycle. It's crazy. Let me know if you're incredulous, if you believe it, your thoughts in the comments below. Because if you love to talk about the Elder Scrolls, I'm going to be here for the next 2 years, no matter what, at least.